Welcome to Emotions and Eating with Nicola Beer. Nicola controlled her feelings using food for 25 years, so she knows how draining it is to be constantly thinking about or acting out with food. Thankfully, having made an amazing breakthrough in her recovery, her mission became about helping others escape the unsatisfying cycle of frustration and self-medication with food. Nicola is determined to help you find your inner strength so you can be healthy, gain confidence, feel great, and be at peace with yourself and food.
Hi and welcome, this is Nicola Beer and I'm so happy you're here. Today's topic was actually requested by lots of people from both of my podcast shows. So the listeners that listen to my How to Save Your Marriage with Nicola Beer and also those that listen to my Emotions and Eating podcast. So I thought in this episode I'd sort of bring them together because they are the result of people asking about what can I do? My husband has put on weight, I no longer find him attractive. Or what can I do? I hate my body and I'm no longer wanting to be intimate with my partner. Or what can I do? I'm eating because I'm lonely in my marriage. I'm eating because I'm fed up in my marriage. So because of all of these issues are kind of related, I wanted to talk about relationships, eating patterns, and how sex and food are often connected. That is, sometimes when we are missing that engaging sexual connection, that emotional connection, that deep connection, we can turn to food to fill that void. So I'm going to be talking a little bit more about that. So if this is interesting to you, stay tuned with me. And I do have some tips and strategies at the end, as well as some gifts that I can offer you. So yeah, join me. So love, relationships, obviously they are a wonderful thing. And love the first time with someone can take us by surprise and can put us into a whole nother world. When we meet someone that we develop strong feelings for, we often find ourselves indulging a little bit more, and after a while perhaps not really taking into consideration how much we are consuming. The fact is, once you love someone and are comfortable with that person, you let your guard down. In the beginning, it may have all been about putting your best foot forward and always looking presentable. But after a while, we can find ourselves relaxing around our loved one and being at ease. And this can mean not wearing as much makeup, not fussing over appearance, obviously for girls. I don't know many men that wear makeup. But you know what I mean. We can be really overly focused on grooming ourselves, checking our hair, checking our smell, checking all things like that. And then we tend to do more normal stuff together. For example, on a Saturday night, you might find yourself eating takeaways on the couch in your tracksuit with your partner, watching box sets and movies, instead of getting dressed up to hit the bars or clubs. It becomes easy to put on the extra pounds, and there's nothing wrong with it, as long as you don't let it become something that gets in the way of how you feel about yourself or how you end up feeling in the relationship. Whether it's the start of the relationship, you've just gotten married, you've just had children, or you've been married for decades, the weight gain can come in different intervals. The phase in the beginning of the relationship may involve a lot more whining and dining out as you start to spend more time with each other. Depending on how your eating habits were prior to the relationship, it can mean that you're going from eating a quick, relatively healthy meal at home to a 3-course meal out with sugary drinks to wash it down on a more regular basis. Then as you progress into the relationship, nights out, dining can turn to nights in cuddling and ordering takeaways, which can easily turn into weekends, munching and munching, enjoying each other's time as well as indulging on easily processed unhealthy foods. Often, once couples are married, many feel the pressure to stay slim has gone. And after the wedding, a lot of people begin to relax their healthy eating habits. And this can be both good and not so good, because it's always great to feel ourselves and feel like we are accepted for who we are, and not so good if we or our partner are not happy about the weight gain. It can be the start of a not so healthy body relationship that can affect the relationship in many ways, especially if tied to low self-esteem or pressure from the other. This is why it's really important to maintain a good relationship with our body and the way we see it. Loving yourself means feeding yourself in a loving way, exercising of some kind, even if it's just 10 minutes a day, and saying kind things to yourself about your body. Outside factors such as work stress and family pressure can lead to over and under eating, and this can affect how we view ourselves in the mirror. Relationship stress and low vibe emotions of worry, anger, resentment, disappointment and loneliness can all lead to weight gain or bulimia or an avoidance to eat. A change in size and appearance can often affect us psychologically, where we may feel unattractive, not ourselves, fat or ugly. This can then impact how we interact physically with our partner. We may not want to be cuddled or touched in certain places as we feel we're too big or dread being seen naked and want the lights off. Sadly, time and time again, I've seen weight become an issue in marriages, either where one has put on weight and their sexual desire has plummeted and they just don't feel attractive, or their partner no longer wants to be intimate or affectionate to them because they are carrying extra weight. Then this self or partner rejection can lead us to want to engage in more of the same eating behaviours. It's a difficult one for sure, because we all hope that we'll be loved unconditionally regardless of what physical shape we're in. Yet, physical attractiveness for countless husbands and wives is important to be happy in a marriage. So a spouse putting on weight can cause resentment and frustration in some people. And if communicated to a spouse in a non-loving way, it can lead to a lack of self-esteem and more emotional eating, and it becomes a vicious cycle, not only for the individual, but also for the relationship. Getting angry or annoyed is rarely ever going to be effective in addressing this common issue. Compassion, understanding, and working together towards a common goal, a healthy and happy relationship, and a happy and healthy way of living often does. Sometimes the low self-esteem comes from comparing ourselves to others, whether that is the image that we have in our head of what a woman or a man should look like from the flawless models we see everywhere, or our own version of what we see as acceptable. Facebook and Instagram depression is becoming a real phenomenon. People seeing each other's happiest moments and best shot images and airbrushing and photoshopping, wondering, why don't I look the same? Take Claire, for example, and I've changed her name. She'd always been a fuller figure person, and it never really bothered her. Much of this had to do with the fact that while growing up, and into her 20s even, social media was not a big deal as it is now. She never really let things get to her concerning her body. She then had 2 kids, and fast forward to a time of Instagram perfection, and all of this immense pressure from society of what she should look like led to her begin to develop a really big insecurity about herself. She had never been the weight that she had reached post-children, and she just kept holding on to the idea that she would lose the weight and feel loads better. So because she was not losing the weight, she felt worse. She stopped making an effort on her appearance because she felt like it was a waste of time. She stopped seeing herself as attractive and automatically assumed that her husband would not see her in that way also, especially if he saw her in the full light. She retracted completely. She stopped going out, stopped making that effort, stopped shopping for clothes and things she enjoyed. She just had a mental block that she looked disgusting and fat and didn't want to be seen. She didn't even like her face and avoided looking in the mirror as much as she could get away with, as it made her miserable. She then realised that it was her lack of acceptance of herself, no matter what she looked like or weighed, that was holding her back in so many ways. It was having an impact on her marriage as well as her children, which was when she reached out to me for support, because she just wasn't being herself. She just felt drained depressed, angry, and depression is often anger turned inwards. So together we had a few sessions to support her to take action, to love herself, to let go of the negative thoughts, to feel more attractive, to create a plan to support her to feel good about her eating again, as well as hypnotherapy, calm the anxiety, and also put her more in the mood for being intimate in her relationship. She also limited her social media to a maximum of 30 minutes a day. She agreed that the best thing she could do was to stop following people who were interested in selling fad diets, lose weight fast programs, and the picture perfect images. And she felt so much better. She got my self-love audio program, which is the Love Energy Toolkit. And it's basically an 8-week program which has 2 lessons a week with exercises on really how to make loving yourself a reality. Because we've all been told by our friends or family that, oh, you just need to love yourself more. Yet no one tells us exactly how to do that. So I give tools and how to make that happen. And as soon as she started to do that, she started to massively shift her energy. Because we are energy beings. Our energy is magnetic. Our energy is electric. And so when we get into that high vibration of a high love energy, happy energy, positive energy, motivated energy, everyone around us, especially our family, are going to have an impact from our energy. They're going to feel our energy and it's going to start to shift their energy. And she also stopped comfort eating because with this positive energy, she had no need to reach for food to fill that void. And she also let go of her inner critic, her inner food critic that was telling her about her body, about what she was eating, as well as her inner critic that was putting herself down about the way that she looked in the mirror. And she started to say yes to socialising. One of the things that I asked her to do, and you might like to do that, it's a really great exercise if you are feeling a bit down about yourself at the moment, your weight and your body image, whether you feel that you are too big or too small. She went to her wardrobe and I asked her to pick out 3 outfits that she always feels good in. 3 outfits that, even if she has put a bit of weight on, they make her feel good. They're comfortable, they suit her colour, they just give her that energy, that light. And I asked her to just dress up for her family, to wear one of those 3 clothes, to put on her makeup, to do her hair as if she was going out for a Friday night, and to cook her family a lovely meal. Just to get into the practice of dressing up again and feeling good. And she loved it. It gave her a real high, and she started to really just wear makeup all the time again, just to give herself that boost. And it doesn't need to be makeup. It can be, if you're a man listening to this, your favourite clothes, getting your hair cut, treating yourself to a shave, whatever it is, anything that's going to make you feel good about yourself. At first, she didn't want to give it a go. She said, why, Nicola? What is the point in doing this just to be at home? But when she got into it and shaved her legs and put body butter all over her body, she did her hair and makeup, she listened to some upbeat music, she had a glass of wine while she made her dinner, she felt fantastic. And wearing the dress, she really, just her whole demeanour shifted. And when she met her family downstairs, they were delighted. Her children kept mentioning it, and she had that compliment and that reassurance that she received, really helped her boost her confidence. And her husband as well was giving her those words of appreciation, telling her how beautiful she looked. And the next day he even went out and got her flowers to say, thank you for such an effort, because they had an amazing night. And they were really intimate and they felt love and acceptance. And she started to dress up more and her husband started to take more care in his appearance. And it was a real great snowball. And sometimes we don't realise that it's just these small things that can make such a difference. And it's also the internal things as well that make a difference. What we say to ourselves. When I was working with